City Current. Produced by Dakota Media Access. In-depth discussion with Bismarck and Mandan city officials. Watch on Government Access Channel 602 HD or tune in to Radio Access 102.5 FM. Always local, always current.
Hello and welcome to City Current. It's Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Welcome, Jim Neubauer.
Thank you, Mary. Awfully glad to be here on January 8th, first meeting in the start of 2025. So
Yes,
away we
but
go.
it is our 299th City Current episode.
Oh boy.
So, yeah.
So does that mean Jason Tomanek gets the 300th
I think
episode?
so.
Well, kudos to Jason, and I'll just sit and watch. That's okay.
Well, we can celebrate today, too. So this is City Current. As I mentioned, I'm Mary Van Sickle here in the studios at Dakota Media Access. Jim Neubauer is here because it is a Mandan edition of City Current. And at City Current, we always talk about the actions and the highlights of the City Commission meeting last night.
A lot of big things happen. I mean, not a lot of discussion, but a significant project
Yes, for sure.
came up last night that we will talk about in a little bit.
And we will, but before we do, I just want to say
Yes.
congratulations to everyone involved with the holiday lights on Main
Yes.
over the holiday season. It was pretty spectacular. I was seeing people posting pictures all over the place, and it really, really went over very well.
Right. Kudos to the Mandan Progress Organization. Kudos to the Beautification Committee that helped out with the street pole, new streetlight decorations, to from our Public Works crew to police and all of the folks that helped put that on. I think
Yeah.
that Mother Nature cooperated quite nicely for a majority of the time that the holiday lights were open and
Yeah.
running, and the people, like I said, I was down there more than a couple times, and people were just having a good time, having hot chocolate, participating in activities that
Yeah.
downtown businesses were putting on. So I know if I leave work at 6 o'clock at night and all of the avenues and Main Street are full of vehicles, it's really a good thing. So like I said,
Yeah.
a lot of people. And
So last weekend was the final weekend,
yeah,
I
I think
believe.
January 4th was the last night of the lights. Now it'll be time to disassemble.
Start playing,
And
planning
things
for
like
the
that,
next
and
event.
plan for next year.
Yeah.
So I think they had a couple new displays. I think the ginormous ice house that was up was very well received based on the number of
Yeah.
people you see taking selfies
Yeah.
and pictures. And I think we could hire a person simply to help people take their pictures down there, and it would be
For
great.
sure.
But
Yeah.
like I said, people very much enjoy it, and I think it does great things for downtown Mandan and participation in the local businesses down there. I think find
Yes,
it.
and as I said, they're starting to plan. They're probably their next event. The
Right.
Mandan Progress Organization keeps the Dykeshorn Park pretty
Keeps-
occupied through most of the year. So
Very busy, so I think really the next event will be Touch a Truck coming up in May when the weather's a little nicer.
Yeah.
But again, kudos to all those that help out, and kudos to the citizens that show up. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's way cool.
it was fun. And again, free to all the families that
Correct.
wanted to walk through, which makes a difference. So
Yep.
speaking of holiday lights,
Yes.
your agenda started last night with a beautification award for the burgers.
Yep.
Their holiday presentation.
Their display.
Their display
Yes.
was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the whole house is pretty much covered.
And it's a good time to remind people that nominations can be made for any types of beautification, whether it be landscaping in the summertime, or we've had some come up for Halloween, and this happens to be their holiday Christmas themed decoration, which it was very interesting because I'll call the man of the house. Cole was up and said that he's got bigger plans next year. And this actually was on, we did an interactive map this year that showed all of the
Yeah,
places where you
I
could
saw
drive
that,
to for
yes.
public to do that. And this was one of them. And, kind of sad to say the abominable snowman that they have
Didn't make the
Didn't
picture.
make the picture, but
Yeah.
if you were up there and saw the 30-foot abominable snowman, that would have added to their display. But
So this was only a partial photo.
yeah, great
Okay.
job
Yeah.
by Cole and Amy, and I think son Gabe was there last night to join in the fun. And we really like to, again, these nominations go through our beautification committee. They're recommended for recognition up to the city commission. Always fun to do these, and
Yeah.
people that take the time to, all right, let's create a festive atmosphere in our neighborhood and
Right.
things like that. So again,
Or it's year-round, so if
Year-round.
it's a landscaping improvement,
Yep.
or just even the home improvement, general improvements to the property, the exterior, obviously, you're taking information
Yeah.
and nominations all year?
Nominations are open all the time.
Okay.
We've got a form on our cityofmandan.com website, and you can find it,
Yeah.
fill it out, submit it. We go through a process of contacting the homeowner
Nice.
and making sure that they're okay with having pictures in their home out on
Yeah.
full public display, because we want to be respectful in that manner.
Yeah.
But again, we've had a few of these that have come up, and it's just fun to see.
Well, they go to the city commission, as they did last night, and get a plaque, or get
Right.
recognition from the whole commission and a thank you, so that's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
A good
So-
thing.
Yes, it is a good thing. So moving into the business end
Mm-hmm.
of the agenda, there was a public hearing last night about Discovery Kids.
Correct.
Special use permit for a childcare center. It's
Yeah,
a
if
fairly
you are-
substantial size.
200, room for 200 kids, I think. If you're
Wow.
not familiar with the area, it would be just to the
Got a little map we can pop
west
up?
of Culver's, and I think former Weeda's building. Kids in Motion were in here for a little bit until they built. It's interesting. Kids in Motion was one of our. I can't remember if they actually won the business pitch challenge or if they were second or third in that
Okay.
year, but they got opened up, and they actually have now built a new building in this neighborhood just to the east. But again,
Okay.
that opened up this spot, and like I said, room for 200 kids in childcare is a really big thing. And like I said, so that was one of these steps to get them rolling.
So if you're not familiar with the location, maybe you are with the building itself. Currently, this building, got a picture of it we can pop up.
Yep.
That's what it looks like right now. So, and it's primarily mostly vacant.
Mostly vacant.
Okay.
And again, if you're looking for geographic area, just to the west of Culver's, and also Send It for the board game of Cornhole is down on the north side of this property too, so there's plenty of parking. We will have to make sure there's another daycare just to the east of here. Some coordination on how to make sure traffic flow and all that
Yeah.
things work, but this was one of the first steps taken, and so we're very happy to have them.
Well, as was mentioned last night, daycare is needed in this community and
Right.
others, so it's good to see. Essentially, it went through, and then also later in the agenda, Madison Cermak came forward with a growth fund
Correct.
recommendation to assist these owners of the property, and I guess they're taking ownership of the property as well as the business, to put in a sprinkler system.
Right, based on the number and square footage of kids that they're having the activity, they do need to have a fire suppression system put in. I think Nova has an estimate of $59,000, $60,000. City is providing through the Mandan Growth Fund a $10,000 assistance for that package to go through. Again,
Okay.
a way that we're trying to encourage daycares to, when they construct things, they need to be up to code and things like that. So this use required the addition of sprinkler system or fire suppression system, which we will provide some funding assistance for.
Sounds good. And I would assume those projects are moving forward fairly quickly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Next item is bids.
Yes.
Bids for Phase 1 and 2 for the Memorial Highway project. This is a
Have we
huge
talked about
project.
this
Yeah,
before?
I mean, my goodness, 15 years in the planning?
Probably.
So congratulations, because you got bids in that met the criteria
Right.
and a little bit over budget, but not a problem.
Thinking between 4% and 5% over budget, and then this project for kind of phase 1, 1.5, moving into 2 would be for the east half reconstruction, which will start roughly around Midway Lanes. To the east will include all the things in a roadway, curb gutter, storm sewer, new streetlights, stormwater improvements, and things like that. So I think bids were received. I think we had 3 or 4 very competitive bids. The low bidder was a company, Reed, R-E-E-D-E, out of Aberdeen, South Dakota, with the lowest and responsive bid. If you're not familiar with them, I think they did the downtown Bismarck concrete reconstruction a few years ago, so they are familiar with the area. Big contractor in South Dakota, Department of Transportation. So last night was the official award or concurrence of an award from the City of Mandan to North Dakota Department of Transportation.
A real big step forward, though.
Massive step forward.
Yeah.
Timeline, this will, I think, talk about dollar amounts, I think it was 38, just close to $39 million for this phase of it, which includes above ground and the below ground water, sewer, things like that. Some of that, obviously, partial is a local share on the water and sewer side. The top side, what we call storm sewer, roadway, streetlights, things like that, are all part of a federal, state, and grant
Again, we
match program.
can pop up that timeline and take a quick look at that, but there have been some design, some work underway already, and
Right.
so this isn't something new, but I would assume there's a lot of communication going on with the property owners and the businesses in that area.
Yep. Now that our concurrence on that ward, we are, I think maybe even today, there may be a meeting to talk about the public engagement. There's been a ton of public engagement while the planning and design of this project was going on. Now we want to ensure that during construction that there's adequate engagement with the business owners and the traveling public so that we all are on the same page on, okay, there will be driving lanes open at all times, both east and west. The driveways to your particular business may be affected from time to time,
Yeah.
and how that is communicated, and making sure all of that is crystal clear. Again, so we're starting that process now I'm pretty sure we will have a public information meeting coming up here in the next few months to talk about here are the phases of the project, here's what to expect between probably April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and during our construction season. Here's what traveling public and business owners should expect
Right.
during this construction season, because it will be.
It's going to be disruptive.
Going to be disruptive. We'll do our best to minimize those disruptions, but we also want to do our best to make sure those communications are everybody's on the same page between North Dakota Department of Transportation, the engineering firms, and the City of Mandan, and also the business owners.
We've talked about it here.
Right.
Certainly, the commission has been dealing with all these, and your departments have been all looking at this. It's a big lift, and if you drive on that road right now,
Right.
you can see that. You can feel that.
You can see it and you can feel it.
This is a necessary project, at least from the road surface,
Yep.
but you've also explained in the past that it's also under the road what you've seen too with
Right.
sewer and water and storms.
Installation of
Stormwater and all of that,
because right
yeah.
now there are the open ditches on the side that don't really function. I won't say they function at all in most places. They are, it's a ditch.
Yeah.
And again, those improvements you'll have curb, gutter, multi-use trail on most of the south side of the road, but we'll be transitioning to the north side, farther to the east. And the road, in essence, the road bed will be dropping by 2 feet. And so when your utilities such as water and sewer are constructed at a level with the current roadway, those utilities need to be lowered because of that road bed will be dropping 2 feet so that things don't freeze in the winter like we are right now.
Okay. And assuming there will be a lot of communication as this process moves forward, and especially as construction
Right.
is starting and
Yep.
throughout construction. I know that the DOT has a big section on the Memorial Highway project.
Correct.
On their website, and I know City
Yep.
of Mandan.
We would be linked to that so
also.
that there's one spot and you're not looking at 2 or 3 different. You might have to go to 2 or 3 different spots to get that link to the actual page that details out
Yeah.
what's going to be happening and when.
Well, stay tuned.
Yes.
It's going to be a big one coming up.
And we may talk about it
It might come
once
up
or twice
again.
more
Yeah.
over the next 9 months.
For sure.
Yep.
So if you're just joining us, this is City Current. I'm Mary Van Sickle here at Dakota Media Access. Jim Neubauer is here from the City of Mandan. He is the city administrator, and we're talking about the Mandan Commission meeting last night. We are recording this on January 8th.
Correct.
So, moving on, the agenda from last night, the consent agenda, I don't believe there was there was maybe one item pulled, and this actually had something to do with
Correct.
Memorial Highway, and it has to do with a funding amendment from the State Water Commission that is going to be used for the Memorial Highway project.
For drinking water, there are grant opportunities through the state of North Dakota. We had applied for some of those funds, which they had approved up to in the $300,000 range, which covers a percentage of the engineering costs. And then once the project is awarded, then it's a matter of, okay, now they will open up the funding bucket for the actual construction of that project.
Yeah.
And so I think last night it was about $2.9 million, which may represent about 60% of the actual cost of the drinking water portion of that. The sanitary sewer part is all on us, but the drinking water portion, there are grant funds available. So we've been working with Department of Water Resources they've been engaged since the beginning for at least a few years as we move this project forward.
Sure.
And again, then it's an approval of accepting of those funds that are available for the construction.
You went from about $350,000 to almost $3 million.
Correct.
That's a pretty significant jump, and certainly helps the process along. And I know Commissioner Schoenberg gave you some kudos last night. That was really generous of him. But you, as usual, said this is a team effort, as it is.
As it is.
Yeah.
And like I said, we go back on this project to probably the early 2000s. So all of our employees and our staff members, from Tom Little as the city engineer at that time, to Justin Froseth as our city engineer for about 10 years, to Jarek Wigness, our current city engineer, to public works directors in Jeff Wright and Mitch Bitts, and now Shane O'Keefe, really this project has touched every department, from
a lot of hands on this
building
one,
to assessing to finance to pick your favorite, business development and communication. There is no part of city government that has not had a hand in helping this project move forward.
Yeah.
And from past commissioners to current commission to, like I said, pick your favorite. This is really a team and a group effort. So again, big step taken last night.
Another big step.
When you award a project worth $30 million, $39, almost $40 million, and you're coming in, and that's kind of half of it.
Yeah.
And big, like I said, I don't want to underestimate the importance of the action that was taken last night, because it is the start of a major 2 to 3 year construction project.
Yeah, for sure. Also want to talk about under consent agenda, the Heart River Women's Transitional Unit or Center.
Yes.
That's coming. This was approval to move forward with some design plans.
Right. The Heart River Women's Transitional Center, going out west of Mandan. I won't say west of Mandan because it is now in the city limits of Mandan. The former Youth Correctional Center, just to the west of that area, will be this new facility that was money approved in the 2023 legislative session, approximately $169, $170 million to build this project. So that's how long these things take. It's from the time that money was approved till now. The bid packages, or at least I think one bid package on the construction of this facility, is gone out. What we, from a City of Mandan standpoint, our building officials will need to be doing the building inspections and plan review. So, correctional facilities don't get built that often. Our expertise, it's not something that we do on a day-to-day basis, so we needed to engage a firm to help us with that.
Okay.
The money, part of the funds that come from the building permit fees will be used to help pay, kind of have another set of eyes that are really engaged in many of these projects, so they know the things to look for and make sure that they're being done properly.
So another big step from a huge project.
Another big step.
We
project.
expect that construction to start this spring yet?
We think there will be some dirt moving and foundations and things like that poured probably this spring and this summer.
Okay.
And then I think there are maybe 2 or 3 bid packages that will be put out. One for the dirt work, foundation work, one for the actual steel, I think, and then one for the building part of it and things like that. So a lot of different aspects of this, but this is one of those things from a city standpoint that we think it was important for us we need the expertise to come in and help us make sure that the plan reviews are done properly.
Being proactive there.
Yes.
Also on the consent agenda, I had to throw this one in, was the purchase of a snow blower.
Yeah.
I mean, snow blower is a big deal. We all have one, right?
Yeah,
or most people do.
Most people will do. You're buying a snowblower,
This was a little different.
Yeah,
This is a big one.
they're a little different, and if you're watching, you can see a picture of what these things look like. The dual auger snowblower, I think we were buying the D50, if I remember correctly. The unit, the snowblower itself is I think it's a $227,000 snowblower. It's not your, $500 Toro that's going out there. This attaches to one of our front end loaders. That price of $227,000 is not including the front end loader, the machine that it hooks onto. This is just for the blower itself.
Yeah.
I think this will be our third one that we buy. We like to make sure we've got two in operation, and there's one kind of, not that it sits idle. All three of them, when it's time, will be going. But there are times when these things do get used a lot, and the conditions that they're used in are not, you're dealing with hard chunks of snow and ice and things like that, so they get beat up pretty good. We like to have another one kind of in reserve, but like I said, we do use all three of them on a regular basis. When we have enough snow to do that.
And
this year.
We mentioned this because this is a big investment,
Yes.
and I think it's important, to mention that it's happening. City's conscious of the fact that they are trying to keep up with all this. So.
And these are not cheap.
No.
It's not like you can go to the store and order one off the shelf and it's here in a week. These things take time. I think the one that we have ordered right now, I think it won't be a 6-month delivery. I think we'll take delivery of that shortly. It's not like when we order a fire truck or a fire engine, when you order it today and it's 4 years from the time you might receive that
big
vehicle.
lead time on those.
So, yes.
Moving on, last item on the consent agenda, and it was not pulled for discussion. This was modifying some job descriptions.
Correct.
Assistant City Administrator has been approved.
Yep.
That's moving forward and will be moving forward. You'll be looking for applications for that soon. But it also had to do with the communications specialist that you have, Carrie
Right.
Schmidt, taking that assistant administrator position now, working under your communications director.
Administrative assistant position is somewhat of a redo of an existing position, and then the management of that position would fall under our communications specialist, Carrie Schmidt, because at the end of the day, Carrie has been, dutifully been doing that job and her own job for about 1.5 years now.
Okay.
And we think it's time to combine a couple of functions of what Carrie has been doing that another position did before that person left.
Okay.
So that Carrie will be doing the training and teaching and all those things that go into that spot.
And oversight.
And oversight.
Yeah,
So
as it
it's,
goes on.
I'm not going to teach someone how to use the agenda management software.
What?
I know. Carrie knows that in and out,
Shocking.
and it's a part of what she does, but we need to find time for also Carrie's position to do more communications training for our existing staff and get more information out.
Yeah.
We know that even we talk about Memorial Highway, the communications on that, the city is not going to be the main driver of that information. That's going to be contractor and engineering firm and DOT. We'll push that information out as much as we can, but they're the folks that are going to be saying, we plan to be in this area tearing up this part of the road on this day. And that communication we need to be able to push out. And again, this will free up some time for Carrie to do some more of the training of our internal staff and do more communications on the public side too.
So it's just basically clarifying
Yep.
these job descriptions a bit, modifying them, so you're ready now.
We're ready,
You'll
and
start
we'll
advertising?
start finalizing the admin assistant job position, and then we'll advertise that and then
Okay.
start taking the baby steps and moving these things
All
forward.
right. it's a nice step forward for,
Yes,
for
very.
everyone there. Resolutions and ordinances, water meter rates and charges were discussed. This
Yep.
basically, Jim, has to do with new construction.
Right. It's kind of a
Okay.
housekeeping item that we do every year because the cost of when we buy water meters, and then if you're building a new home, your contractor is buying that water meter from the city to install that new home, and we need those new prices to reflect what our cost is
All right.
in that meter. It's kind of like you buy the first one, and then we do replacements generally for free as part of our water utility fund. And in turn, it's a matter of as long as you're not taking a sledgehammer to the water meter and you're not being negligent on it, it's, we'll replace those as we need to, and we do that on a continual basis anyway.
Okay, and as inflation is pretty widespread.
Yeah,
All the
prices,
prices do go up.
I think,
so.
I can't remember what the actual new water meter price is, but it's in the, probably the $500-$600 range for the meter.
And it
plus
depends
all
on the
things that-
size,
Yep,
right?
depends on the
Okay.
size. You can go all the way from, you can buy a $6,000 meter depending on the size of pipe that's coming into it.
Okay.
To, I think these are $500-$600.
Last item in my notes, anyway,
Mm-hmm.
is the Cove at Lakewood.
Yes.
This is second consideration of this public PUD, basically.
Right.
Got a map up here that shows the location. This has come up to the commission in the past. It's been a project that's taken a little tweaking along the way, but pretty much went forward last night as a final consideration.
Right, and we had not received any public comments or input on this. This is if your, neighborhood would be you are west of 40th Avenue and south of 21st Street Southeast, kind of in the area of the South Side Fire Station, a little bit to the south of that. Again, there's been different plans developed for this area. There will be a stormwater retention pond to the south, so when you see pictures, it looks like, oh, there's water way back there. Well, that's really a water detention area, but a lot of kind of shop condo units or flexible building space, I think is what they're calling it now. So you could have some retail mixed in there.
Yeah.
I think furry friends might be going out in this area. So again, another good commercial development and
Yeah.
moving that forward.
Yeah, a lot of space here, too. I like how they put the building up to the setback of the building goes up to the, closer to the street with parking on the back side of the road. I think that really makes it look a little, a nice transition
A
into
lot
the
cleaner
residential.
look,
Yeah.
and again,
Yeah.
it's a matter of, when you have shop condos and they're that tightly packed in, you want to make sure that there's adequate parking for all the businesses that may go in there. It's kind of like a strip mall, but it's really for sometimes your activities that may not meet your strip mall needs. And so again, this is kind of getting to the final stages of having this development move forward.
Jim, will these spaces be available as well to retail
Yes.
operation? Okay.
Yep. So I think that's part of the whole deal is that it is a commercial development. Sometimes your entrepreneurs are wanting to start their own business. They don't want a big building for themselves, but they can operate out of kind of the shop condo unit and feel.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, hopefully, obviously, I would assume that most of these would be developing on the needs of the residential
Correct.
population around there and services that they can provide to the people who live in that general area.
Number of other shop condos in this area right now, and I don't know that there are too many vacancies in them, so there definitely is a need
Sure.
for that type of business and those types of structures to go up.
Yeah. Also, I noticed in the agenda packet that the Furry Friends Rescue potentially moving into this area as well as
Right.
included in this planned unit development. Okay.
And they provide a great service to the community.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and like I said, I think
Very active
a new
group.
home of their own, I think will be a very good thing for them.
Yeah. So you anticipate this now that they got
We would anticipate
approval
probably
as
building
a-
starting this spring.
Okay.
When ground thaws and all that good stuff, or could start tomorrow, depending on how they want to work with things.
I mentioned to you earlier that I had been in that neighborhood and I hadn't been down in that general area for quite a while and was really amazed at the amount of construction,
Yes.
the new homes and all the residential in there. It's really attractive as well. And
Yeah,
Lakewood
with-
Elementary, what a beautiful
With the new
school.
elementary school going up down there,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when the school originally bought I think, 24 and a half acres many years ago. And then development has been surrounding that area. Obviously, the voters approved the bond referendum to build a new high school, and part of that was the Lakewood Elementary School.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just an area that has exploded and filling up fast. So it's a really good thing in that
Build
area.
a school and they will come.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Get a lot
And
of
it's,
residential
you know, the
following.
infrastructure is there, and the school held that property for, they bought it for quite a while when there was really nothing in that area,
Yeah.
and said this is good planning on their end, and the development around it has certainly taken off.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, that's all I had on my notes, Jim. Are we?
Yeah, I think the one thing we have, you'll notice several special meetings of the City Commission coming up over the next 2 months. We're doing some long-range financial planning and things like that. So different departments will be coming in to City Commission meetings. I think the schedule will be going. We'll have a regular meeting on like Tuesday, January 7th. We'll do a working session of the board on the 14th to talk about planning and engineering and public works. I think is on the schedule now. We'll do a regular meeting the following week. We'll do another working session to meet with some other of our departments. Again, trying to develop that 3, 5, 10-year plan so that we know we have some significant projects coming up. Memorial Highway being one of them, wastewater plant being another one of them, downtown street improvements being another one,
Yeah.
and several as we move on our street improvement projects in the downtown area.
So
We
these
wanna make
working
sure.
sessions will be a kind of a deep dive into a particular department.
Right.
Okay.
We've done some of these, like a 3-year plan in the past, where we try and have done them sometimes the end of April, and it is every department has like 5 minutes. Here's what we're looking at. Then there hasn't. We want to do that has been very helpful to put everything in one packet. Now we want to get a little more deeper into some dialogue on how we think things will develop in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, and make sure that we have some funding plans in place, and for the commission to have an opportunity to set priorities. What are the have-tos? What are the needs? What are the wants? And how do we pay for them?
And even though the entire commission will be in attendance,
Yep.
or expected to be, there's no action necessarily. This is just discussion, recommendations.
Yep. Working sessions are for just that. You are having dialogue and discussion. Any final actions need to come before the City Commission at a later meeting date. So, like I said, we'll take the next few months and go through all of our departments, and they'll present, here's what we're looking at the next 5, 10 years, which, again, we're trying to develop a really solid financial plan moving forward in the future.
And again, because the commission is present, all the members
Correct.
are there, it is still open to the
Publicly
public.
noticed, open to the public, and so the public is invited. And like I said, we're splitting things up into more manageable bites.
Yeah.
We have to remember we have 3 new board members who are now 6 months in. And so they've gotten their feet wet and their appetites for
No longer
learning.
rookies.
No longer rookies, and we want to make sure that from a staffing standpoint, here's the direction and things that we need to be thinking about in the next many years,
Yeah.
so that we don't, like I said, we just want to do a really good job on planning, and here's what we can do, and there's some things that we won't be able to do because funding is an issue. And when we talk about significant projects, right, you're looking at a $120 million Memorial Highway. Not all that, of course, is on the locals, but you're looking at significant improvements on a wastewater treatment plant. You're looking at major road projects in our downtown core area, and how do we move through some of those neighborhoods that have not been touched in 50 years or longer. And we want to make sure that we're planning for those things, and how can we make sure that resources are most efficiently utilized to get to where we need to go.
All right, so they will be posted, the meeting
Correct.
notices will go out as
Yep.
normal.
Yep, so we're
Okay.
just getting those dates and times set now,
Okay.
and we'll be doing the public meeting notice. I think we kicked some out for the first 2 or 3 of them yesterday,
All right,
and we'll get the agendas and those documents ready to go.
sounds good. Well, thanks for being here, Jim.
Thanks for having
Good
us.
to see you this year.
Yeah.
All right, take care, and we'll see you next time on City Current. Thanks for joining us.
For more information on what was discussed in this episode of City Current, visit cityofmandan.com. or call 701-667-3215. If you have any suggestions, comments, or issues you would like addressed in future City Current episodes, contact us at info@freetv.org. This program airs on Government Access Channel 2 and 602 in HD, or on Radio Access 102.5 FM. It's also available as a podcast on radioaccess.org and as a video viewing link at freetv.org. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of City Current.